Hello, this is the THS Bible Verse of the Week, and today we're going to be looking at Matthew 18, verse 3. And I'm going to start with verse 1. At that time, the disciples came to Jesus, saying, "Who then is greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" And he called a child to himself and set him before them and said, "Truly I say to you, unless you are converted and become like children, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever then humbles himself as this child, he is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." So we can learn a lot if we think about how children are compared to adults. One thing is that children trust completely. I remember as a young child, my father would, and I don't have that many memories as a really young child, but my father would throw me up, okay? And I remember that. And I'm not sure how old I was, but I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that I could trust my earthly father. And we're to have trust as children do. You know, children don't, when they ask their parents for something, as long as the parents are loving parents, of course, they're not fearful. They ask them, trusting that the parent will give them what they need and what they want. So, first, we're to trust completely. We're to trust God completely. I love what Saint Therese of the Child Jesus said. Let me find that little quote and I'll share it with you. This is what, let me see, give me a minute. This is what she said. "What wounds the heart of God most are not our faults, but our lack of trust in his love. This is what prevents us from receiving the abundant mercy and love of God. The more you trust, the more your trust is complete, and the more you'll receive this freely given mercy." So it's not about what we do to please God. It's about trusting him completely with everything that we have, with what we need, with what we want, with what we've done, with what we will do. We trust him completely as we become like children. The second thing we need to do is we need to live in the awe of God. What I mean by that is, you know how excited kids get? They jump up and down when they think they're going to get a gift. They're just, I remember when my kids were little, and because I have boys, and they'd be so excited because they found this bug, and they'd bring it to me and say, look how big it is and how many legs it has. It didn't take much to excite them as children. And that's the way we're to live. We're to live in awe and wonder of our amazing, loving Father. I was driving yesterday to work, and I drive to Bremen, and I looked at the sky, and the sky was fabulous. It was blue behind, but there were this dark layer of darkness that you saw, and then you saw these fluffy white clouds. I can't even describe it. But when we look around at this beautiful world we have, help us to remember to thank our Creator and just to live in awe of the beauty, the majesty that God has given us in this beautiful world we have. The third thing we need to do, if we're going to become like children, is we need to let go of things. Children will be playing, they'll get upset and everything, they'll be crying, it's the end of the world. And then a couple of seconds later, they're like laughing and playing, and they've forgotten completely what happened. Sometimes as adults, we harbor on the past. We let it get us down. We worry about what we've done. We worry about what other people have done to us. We worry about the future. But as we learn to become like a child, we need to let go. Like the old saying, let go and let God, So whatever worries you have right now today, I encourage you to look at your life and look at your loving Father and surrender your heart to God and say, God, help me become more like a child, that I may trust you, that I may live in awe and wonder and thankfulness for this wonderful life you've given me in this world that has beauty beyond measure, and that I might learn to let go of what has happened. So, God bless, and you have a wonderful week as you, instead of maturing, as you become younger and younger and more like a child in your relationship with God.